Hey y'all! Pokemon Red using only one Staryu was one heck of a run. So this time, let's do something a little different. This week, I'm going to see if I can beat Pokemon Crystal using only one Stantler. As usual, the rules are I can only use Stantler in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of the videos on my channel. Stantler is one of those Pokemon that got no love for the longest time. Now that it's got an evolution in Pokemon Legends Arceus, all of a sudden it's cool again. And of all the Pokemon randomly given evolution after all this time, their choice could not have been weirder. Anyways, it's not hard to see why you should stand the Stantler. It's got great stats for a basic Pokemon, and normal types have a distinct advantage in this game, although the move pool is going to be a bit of an issue for a lot of this run, but more on that later. Off at Professor Elm's lab, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Cyndaquil with Stantler so that our rival will pick Totodile. While Feraligatr doesn't have the best special attack stat, it's still a good water-type Pokemon for Stantler to fight, decently bulky, and we won't have any super effective moves against it. Stantler is a reindeer-based Pokemon that we stan, and it's female to boot, so I nickname ours Queen Slay. Stantler starts off with just Tackle. It has less than perfect accuracy, and is pretty weak, but it's normal type so it is same type attack boosted. And even with a couple misses, due to that low accuracy, we easily defeat the first rival battle with Bubs. Unlike in other challenge runs, Bubs doesn't pose too much of a problem during this one. Back at Professor Elm's lab, I made sure to give the police officer our rival's name. It has been, and always will be, Bubs. Heading off to the gym in Violet City, I take on the flying-type gym leader Faulkner. We still only have Tackle, but luckily for us, the minimum battles required to get to this point have put Stantler at level 11. So, his puny little pigeons don't stand a chance. Oh dear, I can't start this early with these awful puns. After Faulkner is Bugsy, the Bug-type gym leader. Stantler struggled a bunch in Union Cave against the Rock-type Pokemon being thrown at us from the various hikers, but we got ourselves the TM for Swift for our troubles. It's a decently strong normal-type move that never misses, and with it, we're able to easily overpower Bugsy. Even when you take into account his Scyther, whose Fury Cutter normally easily overpowers us after just a few turns. After winning the badge, we immediately get accosted by the rival Bubs once again. And thankfully for us, Stantler can learn Mud Slap, otherwise, yeah, we wouldn't be able to make it past the Ghastly. This battle was relatively painless, but I'm already worried about how it's going to go with Morty and the Ghost Gym. Man, I am not looking forward to the first of these runs, where whatever Pokemon we're playing with can't learn Mud Slap. Oh my goodness. In the meantime, next up is the Goldenrod City Gym and that infamous Whitney battle with Miltank. Stantler is pretty strong with its Swift attack though, and it's easy enough to knock out the Clefairy in 2 hits. Still, it's good practice just to put the Miltank to sleep with Hypnosis before it gets the chance to build up rollouts. This is a good chance to note that in this game, badges not only boost stats but also the power of any moves corresponding to that badge's gym type. So once we beat Whitney, all of our normal type moves get even stronger. But normal type moves aren't going to help us for a while, because off in Ecruteak City, I head to the Burnt Tower, where we have to battle Bubs again, and this was really challenging. It sucks to know that eventually we'll get access to Earthquake, but until that, the best ground type move we get is Mud Slap, and you can see that it's a 5-hit KO on the Haunter. Can you imagine how hard Morty is going to be with multiple ghosts? All it takes is one curse to immediately end the battle. Hypnosis helps us to get past it, but my god, it misses so often, and even when it does hit, we get awful sleep turns and Haunter wakes right up and curses. This battle takes forever, but once I finally get past the Haunter, we win on the first try. But there's no time to celebrate though, because now it actually is time to take on Morty, and I have no idea how I'm gonna beat him. And yeah, it's really bad. Mud Slap takes multiple hits to knock out Morty's ghost, and Morty loves to use Spite to reduce our limited Mud Slap PP. Even when we don't run out of our PP, Curse immediately ends the battle. So, we're able to use Hypnosis to avoid this mostly, but remember, for every battle where you see me using Hypnosis, just assume that for every instance it landed, there were at least twice as many times where it missed. The best solution I found was actually the move Nightmare. It's a move most people probably haven't heard of, and that's for good reason. It deals 25% of the opponent's health while they're asleep, but only while they're asleep. And that's really difficult without getting cursed or having Spite reduce our PP. You can even see in this battle, we run out of Mud Slaps thanks to Spite, and that was while using Nightmare to help preserve our PP. I had to try this battle way too many times, and seriously, I think I spent a full 2 hours on it. Chuck, on the other hand, is a different story. He throws a boulder over his shoulder despite being older, and we get right into the battle. And I don't have high hopes for this because Poliwrath has Dynamic Punch, a really strong fighting type move that always confuses, but color me surprised when I swag up into the gym and win on the first try. Yeah, Stomp's pretty good when it decides to flinch and critical hit the Poliwrath before it ever gets to move. Is it fair? Not really, but I don't care. After Morty, I'll take what I can get. Moving right along. Next up is the Olivine City Gym, and this one's strange. It's actually a lot like the battle with Morty in the sense that Mudslap Beepy is a huge issue. It's our best attacking move, so I have to use Nightmare on the Steelix to help save as much of that sweet Beepy as possible. Nightmare technically does more damage than Mudslap, but it takes 2 turns to do any damage since the opponent has to be put to sleep first, and that's assuming Hypnosis actually lands a hit. This one doesn't take nearly as many tries as Morty, but it is a little bit annoying because Jasmine uses Hyper Potions, and that puts a lot of pressure on the Beepy. But more importantly, can we focus on the fact that we're essentially beating up a Steel Leviathan by getting it muddy and forcing it to have bad dreams? Pokemon is such a weird game sometimes, I swear. Well, with all of that out of the way, we're taking on the Ice-type Gym Leader Pryce in the Mahogany Town Gym. Well, there's not a lot to say about this one. Stantler is overleveled, and anytime we get to actually use our normal type moves, we do really well. Just a couple of stomps is all it takes to get past this cold-hearted curmudgeon. Heck, I spent more time sliding along the ice to get the Pryce than it actually took to beat him. Skipping past all of the Team Rocket nonsense that nobody cares about, we take on the rival in the Basement Underground. I beat this battle on the first try, which really surprised me because typically I struggle here, especially with the Haunter and the Golbat. The Golbat doesn't confuse us this time, and the Magnemite goes for Sonic Boom instead of Thunder Wave. Haunter does go for Curse, which it gets the chance to do because it surprisingly is still able to survive 2 Mudslaps. But that's besides the point, really. Getting cursed is normally where we reset, but we're far enough along in the battle that I decide not to reset and just go for the win anyways. And wouldn't you know it, Stomp flinches the Feraligatr twice in a row. Now for the last gym leader, the Dragon Trainer Clair, and this one would have been difficult, but I made sure to start this run on a Sunday. That way, by the time we get to Blackthorn City Gym, Stantler has enough friendship that I can get the TM for Return from the Goldenrod City Department Store. Return is a normal type move that does damage proportional to your friendship, maxing out at 102 base power, which is 2 points stronger than Earthquake. With this much firepower, Stantler turns Clair into a Cliff Note. Before the Elite Four, we traverse Victory Road and beat up the rival Bubs one last time. Finally, we're able to pick up the TM for Earthquake and teach it to our Rudolphian protagonist. With Return and Earthquake, we not only make short work of Bubs' entire team, but we're going to have a much easier time with tougher opponents moving forward. Seriously, all we needed was a good, non-normal move to make things way better. And having something that's super effective against rock types and the poison ghost types is incredible. Well, it's time for the Elite Four, and I forgot to grab a screenshot of the stats once again, but that's just because I'm so excited to get in there and whoop some tail. Seriously, after the trouble I had with Houndour, I can't wait to see what Stantler can do, and right away is Elite Four Will, the Psychic-type trainer. And this one is pretty easy for Stantler. All of his Pokemon take big damage from Return, which I'll remind everyone gets an attack boost from Whitney's normal badge. Her Exeggutor does survive and boost his team's defense with Reflect, giving both the Slowbro and his second Xatu a chance to attack, but Stantler's actually decently bulky and we're able to survive his attacks. Next up is Koga, and contrary to what you might expect, this one was actually pretty difficult. There's not much strategy we can use here, besides putting things to sleep with Hypnosis, but its low accuracy is made even worse by the fact that most of Koga's Pokemon like to boost their evasion. Super cool of him. I lost this battle many times, getting hit with Toxic and then missing all of our moves repeatedly. Yeah, that's a really fun way to lose. Wait, is this what it feels like to be the opposing side of one of my strategies? Oh wow, I guess I really am a jerk, huh? Well, I get past Koga eventually, but I don't feel good about myself anymore. It was really easy to feel like I was in the right when his Muck is spamming Minimize, or his Crobat is outspeeding and going for Double Team, but when you think about it, I'm the bad guy. But I'm the protagonist. I can't be wrong. What's happening to me? Well, shrugging off that existential crisis, I move along to take on Bruno, and if anything is going to put a little pep back in my step, it's beating up this buff bozo. We can 1-hit KO everything besides the Hitmontop and the Machamp. And Hitmontop is kind of funny, because it survives our return, but goes for Dig. And from this game moving forward, Earthquake now hits Pokemon during the turn they're digging underground. So we knock out Hitmontop, and I like to picture him just chilling underground, all knocked out and such. Mach Punch is a priority move that will always outspeed us, and it's super effective, so I have to put the Machamp to sleep with Hypnosis, otherwise Cross Chop will clean our clock. As long as we can put it to sleep though, the duck-faced, four-armed freak isn't an issue at all. Oh, and look, that's cute, he thinks his Onix is gonna do something about it. Yeah, I think not, Bruno. Power tripping right along, next up is one of the most quoted Elite Four members, Karen the Dark-type trainer. So I thought this one would be much worse than it actually was, because her Umbreon normally lowers our accuracy with Sand Attack, and is a huge pain all around, but we're able to deal with it using Hypnosis pretty well. The Vileplume though is actually the problem. Accuracy drops are a thing, but Paralysis is usually a death knell, and Vileplume has Stun Spore. Weirdly enough though, despite getting paralyzed, and despite having a curse placed upon us, and despite taking a Flamethrower from a friggin' Houndoom, Stantler comes in clutch, and wins the battle anyways. And what's even weirder is that this was the first attempt. Considering all the pain and suffering it took to beat her with Houndour, I'm genuinely elated. This is beyond awesome. Last up is the champion battle with Lance, and I tried this one a lot, repeatedly losing to his Dragonite's Thunder Waves. And then I realized, hey dum-dum, you can just give your Stantler a Paralysis Cure Berry to hold. Hey, wouldn't you know it? That makes this a lot better. Novel idea that is, buddy. Still, this wasn't easy. I knew that I could have used our rare candies to turn these almost 1-hit KOs into guaranteed knockouts, but I don't want to waste levels when I know that if I just try a couple more times, I can win with the tools we have right now. So that's why you see me using Hypnosis here, kind of a lot. And can you blame me? He's got a team of some of the best Pokemon in the game, and I have a reindeer for God's sake. Plus, this strategy isn't foolproof. Remember, Hypnosis misses a bunch and he can paralyze with Thunder Wave, and his Dragonites can also use Safeguard to protect his team from status moves, which is kind of my whole strategy. Yeah, I lose this battle a lot, but eventually, with perseverance and a motivational grape soda, I'm able to clutch it out and beat Lance to become the champion. Never mind the fact that I had to reset this like 30 times, that's besides the point! With the Elite Four defeated, we have made our way into the Hall of Fame, but the run isn't over yet. I'm always going to consider beating Trainer Red as the true ending of this challenge unless a Pokemon is just impossibly bad. But this wasn't really that bad at all, so I make my way over to Kanto, do a bunch of plot, beat up the embarrassingly weak Kanto gym leaders, and then get ready to take on the final Kanto gym leader, Blue. And just because the other 7 Kanto gym leaders were a joke, doesn't mean this was easy. Blue has some really good Pokemon, and he's a smart trainer. Still, Stantler is able to do a lot of damage to his team. But there are a few snags we have to deal with. Rhydon can sometimes survive 2 Earthquakes, and we can't afford to take 2 of its Earthquakes in return. So we have to put it to sleep, and you already know how inaccurate Hypnosis is. 55%. Blue does this devastating combo where his Exeggutor Leech Seeds us, his Arcanine Extreme Speeds us, a priority move that will always go first, and then he heals Arcanine, which compounds even more Leech Seed damage, letting him Extreme Speed again, and it just all adds up. It does take a couple tries, but I win this battle in a decent amount of time, but still, those are some pretty nasty combos, Blue. With all 16 gym badges, we can finally enter Mount Silver and take on the final boss, Red. And we're only at level 59, so his Pokemon are almost 20 levels higher. But here's the thing, we can actually do this. In Viridian City, I pick up the TM for Dream Eater and teach it to Stantler. It's a Psychic-type move that's 100 base power, but only works on a sleeping Pokemon. Plus, it does damage based upon Stantler's significantly weaker special attack stat, but the trade-off is that it heals half of the damage dealt. So as long as we don't get hit by Pikachu's Charm, this battle is surprisingly within our grasp. Snorlax can attack us with Snore while asleep, but as long as it doesn't paralyze us with Body Slam, this is doable. Our lower level would be a disadvantage, but this actually helps once we get to Venusaur. Dream Eater is super effective, and since Venusaur is a much higher level, it has proportionally more HP than Stantler, meaning we heal back a lot more than we would if we were at the same level. Without Dream Eater, we'd have to rely on something like Leftovers for healing, but with it, it's pretty crazy to say, but we're able to beat Red with a Stantler at only level 60. And with that, the challenge is over! So roll the cutest credits of any Pokemon game ever. Stantler really surprised me. It was a lot stronger than I gave it credit for, once it actually got to use some good moves, of course. Still, how often you can see a Pokemon use Dream Eater, or even Nightmare for that matter, or heck, what about both in one run? Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos as well, if you want to check those out. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week is going to be much more of a struggle than Stantler, since I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Crystal using only one Natu. This thing's so bad it's going to be hard not to get discouraged. Anyways, until next time,